Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me, and not this guy, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Goodreads as BookishStitcher, all one word. And
I'm Will, and I come on here at least once every 2 years. So I'm Jeanette's husband.
Yeah,
of course. And yeah.
The last time he was on, the episodes were still in the 20s. So you come on, you're shaking the computer with your hands on the table.
I'm sorry. All right. So it's been a long time, but glad to be back.
I convinced him to come on the podcast because it's been a crazy week, and we're just going to laugh over the craziness instead of crying.
That's right.
So
I'm here to tell the tale.
Yes. Well, last time I podcasted, talked to you guys, we were getting ready to do 4th of July stuff the next day, but we didn't end up getting to do that, did we?
We had grand plans to go up to Austin and hang out with some friends.
My friend Jen, who is playing with sticks, we're going to go see her and her new baby and her husband.
And I was roommates with her husband in college for a year, and a lot of other stuff. So we've all been friends for a while. But Jaden got sick.
Our son, yeah.
So Sunday night, I was reading to him before bed, and he was complaining that he was cold, and I just didn't even think much about it, and then he kept saying he was cold after he had a blanket on, and realized I should probably check his temperature, and it was 103.
Yeah.
So promptly gave him Tylenol, and from there on, it was history. I mean, he was sick through
the 4th of July holiday.
Oh,
and you don't want to go see a friend who has a baby with a kid with a fever.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have enjoyed it anyway. He was trying to be brave and suck it up, but it would have been a bad idea.
Yeah.
So we didn't go. Monday was a nice, quiet day, but we spent it taking care of him. And then Wednesday evening, my parents came down from Indiana.
Those of you who follow me on Instagram already know a tiny bit of this.
So you know what's coming. So they got in, they drove in. They've been driving all around the country because that's what they do. And they came in, and Thursday morning I woke up a little bit early and was going downstairs to work, and my parents are running around with towels like there's some kind of bizarre fire drill, and what's going on? And I step downstairs, and it's wet.
Like standing water.
Standing water. And I walk across to the kitchen, and it's wet all the way, and realized, so my poor mom had gone to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and in her sleepy stupor, not realize that she didn't turn off the sink.
She left the water running all night.
And she must have left it on pretty hard, because it put out a lot of water.
And the drain was, and she had the drain plugged
Oh,
up.
yeah, and my dad had just happened to have, pulled the drain up so that there was no way the water could get out of the sink the normal way. And she just, anyways, just one of those Titanic things that everything went a little bit wrong and it ended in disaster. So
it flooded out through the walls of our house into the garage. The carpet was... But my kids thought it was so much fun.
Yeah. So I was thinking, okay, well, I'll go to work for a little bit, and I can, at least a little bit, and I can call the insurance company on the way, and they can figure it out, and my parents can maybe handle the towels, and I leave, and I walk outside, wondering if this is a terrible idea or not. I didn't tell you this part.
Oh.
And I come outside to the driveway, and I see the garage door is wet at the bottom, and the entire area in front of the garage is just like oozing water. And like, okay, this was way worse than I realized. So I turned back around and took the day off, and we threw towels at it, and we put them in the dryer, and
we were running cycles,
and it was lots of fun.
And paper towels when the dryers were. And then we got a shampooer we rented one to suck up water.
Yeah. I was not shampooing, just using the sucking up water cycle. And we just dumped gallons and gallons of water out. And eventually in the afternoon, the emergency helping guys, the water damage restoration experts came and tore up everything, took our carpet pad,
ripped out the carpet pad, ripped off the baseboards and some of the wall, a little bit at the bottom, and it
was good
moved
times.
all the furniture, and then put in these fans. It sounded like an airplane constantly going off in our house.
Yeah, so those air movers, the little snail-shaped fans, we had like 5 of them, and a dehumidifier, which made the AC just not work and negated our AC.
Oh, yeah. It was hot in here.
And what else? It was just days, and it sounded like an airplane. the whole time. It was good times. We did get really lucky because we had a friend last year who had something similar happen, but it was with their toilet, and it was...
The toilet overflowed.
So it's just a biohazard in that case. They had to leave, stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
Everything the water touched was destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, we can maybe salvage our carpet, hopefully.
Well,
so
we learned that there's a
kind of got
difference.
lucky.
Like there's white water, which is water from the pouring out of the sink. There's gray water, which is water which comes out of the actual like drain, like if a pipe bursts. And then there's black water, which is if the toilet overflows.
Black water involves human waste, and gray water is just used water.
We learned a lot from the men that came to our house.
Good times.
And so it was just crazy.
Yeah, but thank God our walls are not ruined.
Yes, thank you everyone for the good thoughts and prayers. The walls are okay.
Yeah.
So that was great. And the only reason why you can hear us right now is because earlier this morning they came and took away the horrid noise-making machines.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But we were actually able to leave the house. We told my in-laws are staying here for a while. They'll be here for a while longer. They're actually taking the kids to get frozen yogurt or froyo right now. And we told them, we're like, cool, we go out and go just have some time out of the noisy house and spend some time together. And I had an errand I needed to run. And so we ended up at a bookstore.
Yeah, so we had a little date night. We didn't like splash out. We just, but we like going to the bookstore. So we just did that with the two of us. We didn't have to hang out in the kids area and the Lego area the entire time. So it was awesome. We went to Barnes & Noble and went upstairs, and we were kind of standing there in the stacks, and it was really cool because we were just going, oh, well, okay, I guess we're just going to walk around and look at some books. And she goes, I have an idea, in her adorable way. And Jeanette got the idea that we would go and pick out books for each other. So it like gave each other a couple of like little like, well, I don't really feel like this, and a couple little requirements. And
like give you a direction, and then go through the bookstore and try to find like a book for the other person that you think that they would enjoy, kind of but unexpected. Yeah,
so it was a really fun little like get in her head exercise. Like, okay, what covers does she like? That's basically the main criteria.
I am a cover. I do like a good cover.
Judging them books. But I picked one that was like, I think you'll like this, but the cover is bad. And she was like, I can't look at it. So we both came back to each other. We both had 3 books in our hands. Like,
yeah, I texted him and I said, how are you doing, or are you ready? And he said, I have 3 choice. And I said, me too. Let's meet up. And then because it was the first time doing this, so I thought 3 would be good because then we could kind of pick between, and for one.
So
instead of going to a movie or something, you could get a book, and that gives you so many more hours of enjoyment out of it, and it's cheaper than going to a movie. But
so if your SO also likes books, this is a fun thing to try sometime.
It was fun, if you're SO, significant other.
Let's see if you got that.
But so that was pretty much our weekend.
And we sat down and we're like, okay, so why did you pick this for me?
Oh yeah.
Well, I picked this because
it led to some good discussion.
Yeah, it was very cool. Then we came back and just pretty much played a board game and.
Lots and lots of board games.
So
his family loves, and I don't really knit during board game time because it's just pick up, put down. But anyways, we'll get right into the knitting because this is a knitting show.
It is.
Do you have any finished objects?
I have never had a finished object in my entire life. I've tried hard like 3 times, but I do have a whip. But you want to do your whip first?
I'll do my finished object and then and then whips. So. I finished, I forgot the sock blockers. Okay, I finished my Opal, Opal Little Prince yarn. And my friend Tanya, the leftovers are going to you. And this is what they look like. I haven't tried, I guess I could have tried them on your mom's feet.
It's true.
While she's here, but she's asked
Detaching her foot is inconvenient though, so we couldn't have showed that.
And the ends aren't sewn yet. But she asked for some like navy blue alpaca socks. So I don't know if these might have to do those too and then have these. But they're done.
They're really cool.
And
they're very fun.
Those will be going to her. And then whips, I will show my first one. I just realized I forgot. I always forget things. You guys are used to that by now, though. There's just too many things to constantly remember. But, so I will show my first whip that I worked on. I only really worked on a couple things. Like I did a row or two on my sweater, but not enough to bring down. But I picked up another old sock whip, and these are some Loopy Ewe Legends, and it was a color that I think I got when I did the Loopy Ewe camp, the summer camp years ago. It was like an option to buy, or this was my free prize or something like that. But I am doing the blueberry cake waffle socks. And the last time you saw these, I was almost done with the first one. I wasn't quite done. That's what they look like. So I finished that first one, the toe, and then I did the cuff, and I am on to the heel flap. And so hopefully these will be done very soon, because just have the heel flap and then the foot left. And that is what I am currently, that's my first one. Do you want to show yours next?
So I have the Eternal Whip. Last time I was on the podcast, which was 2 years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was working on this, which is
I gave him a progress marker.
A Doctor Who scarf. It is a
move
pizza.
it to the middle.
So Jeanette went back and did some research, and I was scared of what she would find. But she went back to the other episode and said, "How far were you in 2014 when you were working on this?" And that's actually where I was. So I've actually knit like a couple inches. It's like 9 inches. Yeah. So it's a thing. But most of that was probably right after the podcast because I was inspired, and then I just put it up and forgot about it.
But he picked it up today, and we were watching a couple go to Japan for a thing. A little like 20-minute video or something.
Yeah, it was just somebody's vacation in Japan.
And we were knitting to it, and that was fun.
So I did like 10 or 15-ish rows, and yeah.
So that's a Doctor Who scarf.
It is, yeah. So in the end, it'll be 14 feet long or so is the theory.
Yeah.
It's just a small portion of the way.
And it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and yeah, what yarn are you using for it?
It's actually DoctorWhoScarf.com also. I'm knitting the worsted version.
You want to show them?
Because the wool is worsted. But it's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. And the one I randomly grabbed is Amber Heather. I have no idea which one of those this is. Probably one of the tan ones.
It has a lot of colors in it.
But there's this. All the colors are really nice. There's like a little bit of, variegation or whatever you call that. But it's cool.
And when do you think was the last time you picked knitting up?
Probably about a year ago. So my goal is to dress up as Doctor Who, theoretically, because she always dresses up as something just like casually cool for Halloween, just as we go trick-or-treating with the kids.
Yeah.
We don't go to Halloween parties or anything.
But I love dressing up.
But it's a lot of fun, and I'm always like, well, I want to do this or that, and I just never get it together.
His costume has been like a Superman t-shirt, and it's peeking out from under like a dress shirt.
Under my work shirt, so I could just like, I'm Superman. That was cheesy. And so Doctor Who was like a goal, and I was going to do this for 2014, and
You thought he was going to knit the entire scarf,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you laughed at me basically, which is fair. And then I was going to do it for 2015. Then I was going to do it. So if I do it now, if I do 10 rows a day,
he did the
I'm
math.
golden.
Yeah.
So I put it on Habitica.
Oh yeah.
Which is, if you don't know what Habitica is, it's lame, but it's a
nerdy thing to remember your.
It's a phone app for people who want to be adults to adult, basically.
It helps you with your to-do list and your daily habits.
It's like the land of habits, basically. So I have like a daily list of things. It's like brush my teeth in the morning.
You check them off when you win stuff or get stuff. I don't know.
So whatever. Anyways, but it's on there, so I'm committed now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's probably just going to slowly kill me as I don't do that habit. But that's okay. I'm going to try.
But yeah, he. I was surprised because I didn't have to re-show him how to knit.
Yeah.
You just kind of picked it up and started doing it, but there was
until I froze.
There was a panic moment after he'd already knit a couple rows, right? And he was like, "What do I do?" And I was drop spindling at the time. It's like this whole family fiberness. And I said, "Jaden, go help Daddy figure out what he's doing with knitting."
So he helped me out, but he's like, "Oh yeah, you do it around," because I did it wrong, and then I freaked out. I was like, "What am I doing?" But he helped me.
Yeah.
It goes in the back, Daddy. It goes in the back. So I'm good.
Because you don't know how to purl, do you?
I'm on a roll. I have no idea how to purl because I'm a sophisticated knitter.
No, it doesn't. If you only knit garter stitch scarves your entire life, you're still a knitter.
It's all good.
But let's see. So my next, I totally just messed up. the heel flap.
Oh no.
I'll fix it in a second. My next work in progress is in my Diana Couture bag, and this is the Pure Joy. I am knitting for a sweet knitting friend, and I cut it close. I didn't think I would need. Okay, so if you're knitting the Pure Joy and you only have 400 yards, I don't know what that is in meters. Let's see. That's probably...
It's 400-ish. It's close.
400. Well, no, it'd be like 360 meters or something like that. It's not enough, or at least for me. This skein that I had, it was the Texas dyed wool in the Mediterranean day, had 463 yards in it, and I only had 4 grams left, like very tiny little bit. And so this is what it looks like. I finished up, like I said, the variegated part. Please don't fall off the needles. It's so hard to show right now, but do you want to hold up half?
I would love to hold up half because it's big and awesome. I mean, not let my knitting fall off my needles.
Okay, so it goes like this. Yeah, just don't let it fall off the needles. So it's like this, and I'm on to the orange band across the bottom, and I'm over halfway done with it. And I just haven't had a lot of time, and as the rows grow, of course, they take longer, so I haven't had a lot of time to work on it since the flood of my dad. My dad was joking me. He's like, "You survived the actual flooding when, San Antonio, the highways were shut down and everything, but you didn't survive your in-laws coming down for the flood." I
love that it was on the first night. And
it was the first
getting
night.
That trip off to the right start.
It's funny, but... yeah, so that's my Pure Joy, and I hope to have it done soon because baby boxer mom so kindly got me a skein, or got herself and was allowing me to use a little bit of the Lemonade Shop I Love Cake, and it's actually upstairs. I should have brought it down, but I completely forgot that was my thing. I forgot.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So I'm going to get to finish up that shawl and then start and finish up my doodler with the little bit that I needed to do, and then send that her way. And yeah, so she'll get to experience the lovely Lemonade Shop yarn because it's wonderful. It's so bright and cheerful. And that is all of our knitting, right?
That is.
I think so. Oh, you forgot to say your bag.
Oh, my bag.
My friend made his bag. I commissioned.
I'm totally going to mess it up.
So my friend Kim makes bags. And her bag shop... Yes.
Casey Pockets to Go. I got it. That's what it is. But it's a Sherlock Holmes theme, right?
I commissioned her to make this bag especially for him, for his Doctor Who. It's bridging fandoms.
There you go.
But I wanted one big enough to where he could keep the scarf in it when it got bigger. And I wanted it to be a guy bag from something that he would like. And she made that for me. She does. She's on Etsy. You can follow her on Instagram and see a lot of her fabrics, and she will basically do any commission order that you would like. I think she might be really busy now with show stuff, but
so if it outgrows this bag, you can commission me like an Emrakul or a Cthulhu bag.
Just give you a pillowcase.
A giant monster bag.
Just give you a pillowcase.
There you go.
But yeah, so on to spinning, which my son actually today saw me drop spindling and asked if he could. He's like, "Can I drop spindle?" And I said, "When I'm done with the little bit I'm doing, then yeah, you can do it." So, but I finished the Three Waters Farms. I'm spinning for you guys, and this is the Spring in My Heart, and it has such beautiful sheen on it. You can kind of see with the light hitting it. It's gorgeous spin. It's spun up so well, and I'm very happy. And I'm excited to play it. It's resting right now.
Which is awesome.
Thank you. And then I have another one on the wheel, which I'm equally as excited about. It's the Fiber Optic Pencil Roving. And it is spinning up so beautifully, too, because it has sea cell in it, and it's just shiny.
That's the green one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's green. It's like a emerald green or a...
Sure, hunter green or forest green.
Yeah, forest green would be a good...
Don't ask a guy what the colors are. I don't know. But it's dark.
And it's gorgeous, and it's spinning up so nicely. I just haven't had because my wheel's upstairs and away from the family, I haven't had time. Normally at night I would spin, but we're playing board games at night, so And then that's my, oh wait, and then I did pick up my drop spindle a tiny bit, but this is a turtle made, and it has light blue, royal blue, and then a bright orange middle. Turtle made. And I'm spinning a Wren and Ollie rolag. And it's my goal that I'm slightly failing at too, because he asked me, he's like, oh yeah, wasn't that one of your goals? I'm like, yes, because he watches the podcast, to get all my spindle projects.
I didn't watch last episode.
Good, because there was the secret. Did you just wink?
Nope.
But, so, my goal is to get all those finished. I don't know if I will now, because I'm behind, but that's spinning. And then we had group news. There's a ton of stuff going on in the Ravelry group. It's BookishStitcher podcast. There's a ton of stuff going on there right now, and I'm to save time, because who knows when the Froyo adventure will be over and they'll be back at our house. So I'm not going to cover everything, but there's knit-alongs and swap getting ready and tons of stuff over there. But we did have 2 prize draws this week. And he wrote it all down, because I drew for it and then told it to him, and he wrote it down. So he's gonna, so I can knit.
There you go. I don't know what GEX is.
Jex. It's the Jex Cardi, and I need to take pictures of it. Ugh. I meant to take pictures of it a while ago, and then the sickness with my son and the house flooding.
It's been a rough week for getting.
Oh, and Nitty Girl 78, thank you so much for the Susan B. Anderson sock pattern. Susan B. Anderson had her new sock pattern come out, and Nitty Girl 78, I believe I'm getting that number right, or Knitter Girl 78, she gifted me that this week. So thank you so much. That was very much a bright spot in a chaotic week. But anyways, sorry, on to the winners.
So the Gex. I still don't know why he said Jex.
Yeah.
The winner was post number 25, and that was KM Harrower. So, congratulations.
Yes, I will tag you so that you know that you won, and then I can get that pattern off to you. And there, it has, the Jex Cardi is gorgeous, and it's so much fun to knit, because the way the yoke is done is just brilliant. And she has the size through, like, I believe newborn or very tiny baby, all the way up through adult. So any size you want to knit it for. It's just a wonderfully written pattern, and I had so much fun test knitting it. Oh, and I have another test knit I need to start for yarn poetry. I have yarn picked out for yarn poetry, and I'll be starting that soon.
And then the other one on the self-striping, which is awesome. That's the Brat Pack, right?
Yeah, Brat Pack. Which
is
the 80s
people. The Breakfast Clubbers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That is post number 14, which is use your yarn.
And use is like the sheep.
You get bonus prize for puns. So good job.
What is your bonus prize?
I'll throw in a free, I don't know.
He's looking over at my stuff. What if my
things? What can I offer?
He likes your puns, so he's going to give you something free.
Yeah, no. Whatever you want. Probably
I'll throw in
tea.
some tea or a button podcast one.
Because tea is awesome. He has some cool ones.
He loves his puns. Let's just say that. But yeah.
I try.
So that is all the group news stuff. I don't think. Is there anything else that I told you that I wanted to talk about?
You're asking me. It was a lot of information. I think you're good. I think that was it.
Okay. And so
apologies for the thing that we'll realize right after we hit stop.
Yeah. Oh, the chair's so squeaky. But I fixed my heel flap mistake. I shouldn't be knitting a heel flap while podcasting, but that's okay. So we were going to talk about certain books this week.
So yeah, this was kind of my brilliant idea.
It
so
was
hopefully
his brilliant idea.
Not too.
He got excited and texted me.
Too much of a downer. But I kind of am whatever. So there was a recent event in the world that was sad, and if you keep up with the news a lot, you probably already saw it. But if you don't, you don't know who the guy is.
Or the literary world.
Or the literary world. So if you don't know, then here you go. It's a good thing to know. A man named Elie Wiesel passed away, I think, this past week. Or maybe
no, it's like
late last week
last
or
Sunday
something.
I almost mentioned it, but I didn't.
So you can tell all about it. I actually haven't read the book. I just know of it in general.
He was a Nobel Peace Prize winner who survived the Holocaust. and he wrote a book about his experience. So I have the book with me. I have read it, and I sobbed all the way. It is so sad. And my mother-in-law actually teaches AP U.S. history, and she has all of her kids read this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is Night by Elie Wiesel, and he was the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. And I'll just read on the back. A slim volume of terrifying power. Wiesel has taken his own anguish and imaginatively metamorphosed it into art. As a human document, Night is almost unbearably painful, and certainly beyond criticism. So
it's very thin.
It is. It's just 100 and... My copy, every edition is different, so I hate to even say this. My copy is just 120 pages, but it deals with his story and his relationship basically with his father and his experience of the Holocaust and the death camps and just how his father kind of just gives in to all the inhuman evilness they see around them, and he just kind of gives up. And he has to kind of take over even as a young man, just as a teenager, trying to keep his father alive and trying to get them through this. And it's just this really big struggle.
Because he was pretty young, right?
He was. I don't remember exactly. It's been a
maybe.
while since I've read this. I don't remember exactly. And he's given, we actually watched this morning while we were knitting one of his speeches that he had given. And he's given a lot of speeches. And I love this one line from the speech that we watched where he said, "It is the job of the younger generation." And when he gave that speech, I was just in elementary school, according to the data on YouTube. But he is the job of the younger generation to preserve the history, like such incidents as this, history, in our hearts and in our brains, to keep them for the future and to tell them so that stuff isn't forgotten. And history is such a powerful thing. If you don't know your history, you can't learn from your mistakes. You can't not repeat them over and over again. And it's a great book, and it is very sad. I would say it is not for young children. I would say maybe older teenagers even. But I think it's definitely a book that it's like one of those you should read. You know, it's kind of compared to with the Diary of Anne Frank for older people.
Yeah, maybe if you have a middle schooler or a high schooler or something that you feel is ready to learn about it, that may be a good...
Yeah.
Or just a good thing to read in general to know. He was very big on, like you said, like on preserving the memory of what happened. Mm-hmm. A lot of Holocaust museums exist because of him. So.
And then Will has a different book that he's read that I have not.
My idea was also for me to really briefly review a book because I read it so long ago, but it sort of relates.
Do you want to show the picture?
And interestingly, so it's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
You might want to say that louder.
It's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl and shiny lights on the screen.
Oh.
But it's okay. I'm bad at that. But I think I read that because he passed away. Because he passed away in the 90s. And I was, a lot younger at the time, too. But he was also in a couple of concentration camps for a couple of years during the war. He was a lot older. He'd been a psychotherapist as his job before he went in. And so he kind of viewed everything in camp life through those eyes to some extent.
That would definitely add an interesting spin on it, or
for sure
perspective.
And from what I remember, there was not as much like in the book about what happened in the camp. It didn't completely focus on that, but he does talk about it to some extent for sure, and it's used as kind of a going off point for the point of the book, which is basically when he was in the camp, he watched a lot of people around him and realized that the ones who survived for a long time, or the ones who made it out, or had a good life afterward if they survived, or things like that, had like a reason to survive. So his whole point is that you really need to have a purpose for your life, in everything that you do. So there were two guys that I think he mentioned. So like one of them was just, he knew that his son was okay because he was like maybe overseas, away from all of it, and he wanted to survive to see him. There was a scientist who had some like a bunch of books that he published some of them, but he hadn't finished his scientific work, and so he really wanted to survive and get out and do that. And there were other people who just like, they'd been separated from their wife and they just lost hope, and they didn't have a goal or anything to live for, and they more often than not didn't make it, whatever. So
because that drive to survive and that like having something in your sight that you're just hanging on for can, because if you it's like if you don't have anything left to live for, then there's no reason to not just give in and completely just. And I think your spirit that you have changes a lot. Like if you do have something to live for, if you don't, your whole spirit of hanging on versus.
And yeah, it's very true. And when he got out, I mean, he eventually came to this thing where his whole version of treating people, his patients, because he went on to keep being a psychotherapist, was called logotherapy. Just like a company logo. Like logo is like, I think it's from Greek. It's like, for meaning or representation or whatever. But it's like, the point is like to show people the meaning in their life, or if they're depressed because their spouse died, to show that, what meaning their life, has, and to inspire them to keep on,
find a new
going.
Place to put their.
It's like, well, what would your spouse have liked you to do? Keep on living for your child. That kind of idea. So whether that's, for God or for some, for some thing to make the world a better place, or to, whatever that thing is. I mean, love is a big one that he talks about a lot for your spouse or for your family. Just to make sure that you are living for that, and not to try to just find happiness in a selfish way, or to just, live day to day, or, lose hope when you see something sad around you or something happens in your life.
Which that kind of thing is hard for me.
Definitely.
Seeing the sadness around in the world is something that does make me feel very,
For sure. So it's a very inspirational book if you're into that kind of thing. It's really good.
Is it like philosophical?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of like positive psychology, I guess. So it's not like philosophy where it's super deep, but it's just kind of like, like here's a way to think about your life in a different way and do better, I guess. Not really self-help. It's not cheesy like that, but it's just very good. I mean, I can read a couple quotes from it. But like,
you hear our kitty cat.
Yeah, the cat wants to contribute. But one of the quotes that's pretty good is like, don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of your personal dedication to a cause greater than yourself, or as the byproduct of your surrender to a person other than yourself. And then kind of his conclusion, like from the camps and everything, was everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. So it's very powerful.
That is very powerful.
That's a book that I would highly recommend.
And that's on my to-be-read list. I haven't read it yet, but as anybody who probably is a reader knows, your to-be-read list is huge.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get through them.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's all we had for this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say?
I guess if, like, I thought of a prompt question, because I know you do those.
I sometimes ask questions, and he wanted to ask this question.
So
to see what you guys would say.
It's a little more serious, maybe, but it's like kind of in the theory of in the spirit of that Man's Search for Meaning book. He says like it's good to have a mission in your life. So it's kind of a question for everyone, like, what's your mission? Like, what would you say you're living for? Your main thing that keeps you going each day or inspires you to do better, to keep going, even when things are hard. So.
Do you have an answer for that?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. God, but
I mean, then that would be a hard question to answer to, like your kids and stuff like that. And even something as simple as like making someone's day happier, brightening someone else's day, or doing something to help someone else.
Yeah.
Lighten someone else's load.
Or some kind of like a political mission for what you believe in. It can be anything from huge to very
simple and basic. Are you on a mission to cure cancer? Because I would love to hear about that.
There you go.
If you're if you're a research scientist or something.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah, that's actually good. There might be some people that have really
tell us your cool secrets.
Mission out there. Unless you have to kill us afterwards, then don't tell us your cool secrets.
This is true. I work for the NSA, as I know.
But yeah, so we will see you, or we won't. It will just be me. But yeah, it's just shaking the whole camera. But
probably is not touching the table.
I know.
Concept.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways, we're gonna go. We hope you guys have a wonderful week and that you get to do
all the things you love.
Okay, bye guys.